I really believe that if you could make something really intimate, where if the gravity in the movie was the same as the gravity in the parking lot when you left, you know, if it felt like your life and it was simple and you cared about everybody, that it could be just as exciting as if it was, you know, 60 motorcycles on the West Side Highway. And this looked like a really good place to do that. These books are entertaining by nature of the fact that they're something you take on vacation with you, or you read it over a couple weeks. It's a huge, big piece of meat. Movies are very small. Movies are very concise. It's 2 hours, it's 120 pages with a lot of white on the page. While the movie's really different than the book. So a lot of people that are very upset that Carlos the Jackal isn't included and things have been changed. The essence of what's in the book has ended up really coming through in the film completely. There's a scene in a truck stop cafe and he says, how do I know that this guy's left-handed, and how do I know that this guy weighs 285 pounds?
And at this altitude, I can run flat out for a half mile before my hands start shaking.
All that dialogue I had almost from the very beginning.
Now, why would I know that?
You say, well, I don't know what the script's gonna be like, but wow, I know this is the idea for the movie. And I thought, God, that's really cool, because that's a scene that it does about 5 different things. I mean, it tells you how he thinks.
I come in here, and the first thing I'm doing is I'm catching the sight lines and looking for an exit.
It tells you what he knows how to do.
I can tell you the license plate numbers of all 6 cars outside.
It tells you how confused and vulnerable he is, so it's just sort of winning her over.
How can I know that and not know who I am?
It was a really cool scene, and I had that, and I thought, well, that's what this whole movie's about. That's who this guy is. How can I know how to do all these things and not know who I am?
I just had a meeting as Kane, and he knew me as Kane. So I'm definitely Bourne. I'm also just definitely Kane.
The Ludlam book is about a guy who thinks that he's a bad guy and then finds out he's a good guy. This is a movie about a guy who wakes up and thinks, well, I must be good. I feel good. I'm a nice guy. And then through the movie finds out that he's really bad. If you gradually found out that the things that you knew how to do were sort of horrific, and that was how you were piecing it together.
If you are John Michael Caine, whose body do they have?
Jason Bourne is really easy to write. He's confused and horribly confused about these big issues, but moment to moment, he's really focused on what's the next thing I have to do, and how much time do I have? Where am I going? Where's the exit?
What happened?
We lost communication with our man.
This was almost 2 weeks ago.
We've been working around the clock, the whole unit. Believe me, we're doing everything we can.
You need people in conflict. It's better to have 2 bad guys that are in conflict if you want to get the story out. People tell exposition better if they're in conflict.
And you don't let me know this?
You never wanted to before.
You never made a mistake before.
It felt like, since that part of the story was the most complex to describe, it just automatically, intuitively, you go to have, well, let's have these 2 guys. And then it's one guy's the guy who's out doing this, and the other guy's the guy who's the sort of ambassador to the bureaucracy.
Well, why don't you go upstairs and book a conference room? Maybe you can talk him to death.
I'm trying to do the right thing for you, okay?
To be really honest, I mean, it wasn't written for Matt, and I wasn't really sure when Matt came on. I thought, well, that's kind of, to be honest, I mean, I didn't quite get it. But I was completely wrong.
Look, you're acting like I'm trying to burn you here. I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Nobody does the right thing.
There's just so much dignity, you know, there's something empathetic about him and something human.
I don't know who this guy was. I don't know about that picture. I don't know who I am.
He so lets you in behind his eyes and into his emotional life, and that's, God, then you're really with somebody. Then you're really hanging on the side of a train. You're really involved in the movie.